Hi guys, I am Farmer Courtney and this is my dairy, Cave Hill Dairy Farm. I'm the 6th generation dairy farmer here at the farm. I work alongside my dad and granddad, Jeff and Jerry Henderson, and we raise primarily Holsteins and we own around 450 acres. And we reside in Troutville, Virginia, or as I like to call it, Botetourt County, Virginia. Over there we have some of our hay crop. We raise alfalfa hay, we raise grass hay, oats, a little bit of everything, and they're all mixed in different rations and fed to the different cows along the farm. And we preserve them in the white tubing to make sure that the nutrients are locked in. And over here we have all of our cornfields. Again, we will be chopping here at the very end of September, 1st of October. We raise around 134 acres of corn and 126 acres of hay. And we have corn just about everywhere. So this is the drive up the driveway, and as you can see, there's corn on all sides of us. Alright, now we're coming up on the driveway. Over here we have a nutrient management practice where we fence the cattle out of this old field and we planted over 600 trees between here and up on our mountain in order to help with erosion and help bring life back to what was once a barren land. More corn over there, more pastures over here. Up on the hill, that is actually a cow pasture. Those trails you see were part of that project. So the cattle stay out of waterways. They can go all the way up to the top of the mountain, which is right around 60 acres, and lounge throughout the day. Over here we have 3 of our wean calves. We do have this little lot for a few wean calves, but no more than 3 at a time. These are our calf hutches. These are where all of our baby calves are taken to after they've been born. They are in the hutches from newborn all the way up to 2 months. Our calves stay with their mothers for at least 24 hours to make sure that they get the adequate amount of colostrum they need, but for safety's sake, we do move them into the hutches. While they're in the hutches, each hutch is bedded with wood chips that we get from a couple different wood chip companies. A lot of the times when Virginia Department of Transportation is working on stuff or other chipping companies are working on things, they'll call us and ask if we have anywhere for them. We'll take them and we use that, and they seem to work really well. They have great drainage, and the calves seem to really do well with them. During the summertime, we use the chips. During the wintertime, we use fresh straw. The straw helps them keep their body temperatures up during the coldest time of the year. But during the summertime, the chips work really well. It also helps keep flies down. Each hutch not only has the bedding in it, and they also have a little place they can get out of the elements. Each hutch also has grain and water in them. The grain that we feed them is a molasses-based grain. It's got a lot of corn in it, a lot of pellets in it, oats and everything. And the molasses is basically like candy to them. It helps them get to eating faster. They get around a pound each morning and a pound in the evening, so about 2 pounds a day. As you can tell, our hutches are pretty full right now. All the calves, like this one here, that has a yellow tag in her ear, those are heifer calves. And all the calves that do not have tags in their ear, they are bull calves. So we do keep our bull calves on the farm. We make them steers at some point, and we actually raise them until they're about 2 years old, and then they're shipped out to Kansas. So after the calves leave the calf hutches down below, they get moved up into this barn, along with another barn, depending on how many calves that we have at the time to wean off of milk. While they're in the hutches, they're fed milk replacer twice a day. It's a 20-20, so it's 20% fat and 20% protein. And they get 2 quarts of warm water with it twice a day, every single day. And then between 2 and 3 months old, we move them into the weaning pens, which is a brand new weaning pen we built back last February. It is a pack barn basically. And so over here's the feeding alley. They get fed a little bit of silage now they're older. These calves are more like 5 to 6 months old now. They've been in here a while. So get a little bit of silage and they get hay. And they also get a grain pellet each and every day, which I'm going to show here in a minute. And they also have access to water whenever they want it, hay whenever they want it, and then the silage is here basically until they eat it. So from this pen, they then go down into the main groups. These groups are all just about the same. We just cleaned this barn out on Friday. Friday's our cleaning day. But calves are basically like little kids, and they like to make messes, a lot of messes. So when they're in this barn, They're fed hay. They're fed a little bit of grain, which I'm going to pour out. So they get grain pellets that are specially formulated for calf growth, and it works well with our ration. But they get grain twice a day, every day, about a bucket a group. They also get fed hay in the mornings, so whatever hay we have on standby. So this is more of a grass hay that they do really well with. Then in the evenings, we actually take the hay out and we give them all corn silage. They go from group to group until they're yearlings, and then the yearling group will head off to another pasture across the road. It's 60 acres. From there, they're there for about 6 months. Then they move back here to the breeding lot, which I will show you guys here in a moment. This is our yearling group. So they're here for another month, then they'll head down the road where they get to just frolic in a field. This is Tinker Stinker. She's one of mine. So all of my cows are like giant dogs. Each and every one of them will do exactly what she's doing now. And that's something that really makes our farm unique and really kind of cool. My farm is also a completely closed herd. So I said I was 6 generations. So the farm started back in the 1800s. We do have records back to 1749, but we don't know exactly if we were where we are now. But in the 1800s, my great-great-grandfather came here, built a house here, raised a farm, family, everything. In 1935, he went to Pennsylvania during the Great Depression, or at the end of it, so to speak, and he bought 3 Holstein heifer calves. They were registered, and everything on our farm can be traced back to those 3 originals. We haven't bought cattle since 1935. So our farm's kind of cool. All the calves were homegrown, home raised, and everything. This is where half of our milk herd is kept. This barn is our newest barn on the farm. We built it back in 2017 through some cost share programs we got through NRCS and Mountain Castle Soil and Water Board and a bunch of other conservation services. So to go along with where we fenced everybody out of the waterways, since we kind of fenced them away from shade as well, we decided to build a barn for it. So this is where half of our girls are. This is my girl Gray. So half of the herd are young ones, and also some of our older cows. They get fed a TMR that consists of corn silage, alfalfa hay, brewer's grain, and a specialty protein meal that we worked with our nutritionist at Rockingham Co-op to develop. So they have access to this. They have access to alfalfa hay. There are 2 waterers in here. They can lounge on the pack, which is bedded with the chips that the calves also use in their hutches. And if they really want to, there is a trail right over there that will take them around the cornfield to a cow pasture that they can lounge in as much as they want. And a lot of the times in the mornings we come in and they're all usually out in the pasture, and we'll gather them around, bring them down to the barn. All of our cows pretty much will let you go up to them and play with them, but a few of them, like this one, really like people. She was also a fair calf. She got to go down and meet people when she was just a yearling. So like I said, 65 of our cows are kept up in the new barn, along with our breeding age cows and our dry cows. In this barn, we have the rest of our cows. There are 47 in here. And these are the cows that are a little bit older. They're about 2 to 6 year olds. The average age on our farm is around 8 for our cows. So they're a little on the older side. And these girls, just like the ones up top, they have access to hay in the back. They have a feed bunk down there. And they just pretty much do whatever they want throughout the day. And they only have to come down in the milking parlor for about an hour. They stand in the holding pen. And depending on when they get milk, depends on when they get to come back up here. So they're first in the parlor. They're only in there for 9 minutes. And they go to the barn and they're done for the day. So pretty easy life for the cows. This is the milk house. So the milking parlor is behind us, which we're going to walk into here in a minute. This is the milk tank. It is not only inside, but there's also some of the tank outside. It holds 20,000 pounds of milk. Milk is measured in pounds on the farm, not in gallons, because it goes on a big truck and then is shipped along the interstate highway. So we have to do it by weight. So right now we are shipping right at 14,000 pounds of milk every other day. Today happens to be another day. So the milk truck driver will be here in about an hour to pick up the milk. This tank has about 6 inches of refrigerant insulation in it, so it keeps the milk ultra cold. These are the lines. Right now it's hooked up for wash because we just finished milking about 2 hours ago. But during milking, this line goes to the top of the tank, drop the milk in. This line also, this is the end result. If we go a little further, this is our cooling plate. So at the same time, the milk is coming in from the parlor. It is being cooled off by ultra cold water. And by the time it hits the tank, it has cooled down from about 95 degrees to around 60 degrees. And then from 60 degrees down to, it's currently at 38 degrees. So it does a really good job. These lines set going into the parlor. All the water that's caught here goes back in these vats to be used in our wash cycle later. So it's a recycling process pretty much. So we also wash the tank lines after milking. Like I said, this is set up for wash right now with chlorine and acid along with 2 rinse cycles to ensure that we get everything cleaned up from the milk. So let's go on in the parlor. So you can see from back here, we are a 5x5 parlor, so we have 5 stalls. So 5 cows in here on each side, both times, about 10 cows total. We also have the old feeders in here, so the cows get to eat while they're being milked. The way the milk works is we have the milkers, and I'll break one down to show you guys how it comes together. So right now it's set up for wash. Like I said, I just finished milking. We are a 5x5 herringbone parlor. So there are many different types of parlors. There are parallel parlors where you milk the cow from their back. There are herringbone parlors, which are ours, which we milk from the side. There's also rotary parlors where the cows get on this giant rotary and just get to ride around on a little roller coaster. There's also robotic parlors where the cows walk in and they read their collar and the cows literally milk themselves with robots, and other different types as well. So we have a herringbone, so the cows come in, their head goes to the feeder, and their back comes here, so their butt's actually against this metal bar here. And we milk them right through here. So when we milk the cows, we have 2 sanitation processes. First one is this blue dip, which I call soap. And pretty much we take a rag, we wipe the cow's udder off to make sure there's no mud or any dirt on it. And then we apply this soap to it. Then we scrub the soap in like you're washing your hands. And we scrub the soap in to make sure we get any dirt off, and we make sure that the cow's milk looks good. Once we check that, we apply a second coat of soap. Then we let it sit for a minimum of 15 seconds, usually a little bit longer by the time I get all the way down and all the way back up. Then we take a rag and we wipe off the soap, and then that's when we put on the milking machines. So during milking, the machines are actually broken down like this. They're hooked up here, which there's no pressure, so I'm just going to hold it right now. And then we have the bars out, and we'll press this button here. It's this nice big green start button. And these are called automatic takeoffs, so it'll automatically take the milker off after the cow's done based on how fast her milk is flowing. So we'll press the start button, the milker will go on like that, all up on the cow. And when the cow starts slowing down, the milk will go into this line first. Through here, there's a recorder in here. So up here, we can actually see how much milk she's giving each and every milking. I've had numbers go as high as 90 pounds each milking. I've had numbers go as low as 2. Just depends on the cow and depends on how fast she's getting ready to go on vacation. So when milk is no longer flowing or slows down, it automatically comes off of the cow. So I'm going to hang this back up real quick. It'll automatically come off of the cow, and we'll apply the other sanitation. So first we actually look at the cow's udder to make sure she's done milking. If she isn't, we'll put the milker back on for a little bit to make sure that she's completely milked out. That way that avoids any kind of infection coming into her udder if she hasn't milked out all the way. So, but if she looks like she's milked out and everything looks good, we'll apply the second dip, which is basically lotion. So this goes on the cow. It helps to close up the teat end to avoid any kind of bacteria getting in. And it also conditions the teats in order to keep them from cracking or becoming dry. Kind of like in the wintertime when you get dry skin on your hands and you have to put lotion on. It's exactly what we do with the cows. Then, once they're dipped and all the girls are ready to go, we open the gate. They go out to the feed bunk. They have access to water. They have access to feed. We'll show you this. So they come in from the back. That's the holding area. They come through the parlor, and when I let them out, they go right out here. And they have a giant water tub there. There's another water in the back. That's the feed bunk that you can see a couple cows still eating at. There's 2 mineral feeders where we have them mineral and soda whenever they want it. And the cows get to relax the rest of the day. So they're only in the parlor a total of 9 minutes. We start milking in the morning at 5 o'clock and we finish up around 9 or 10. In the evenings we start at 3 o'clock and we're done around 7:30, 7:30. So it's a good long day for me. I do all the milking along with a couple of other girls, but I'm the parlor manager, so this is my main job on the farm. I also take care of just about anything that I need to. Dad mainly takes care of the baby calves. My grandfather, he does any kind of machinery work because he just likes being on a tractor. So we have another employee that feeds calves. He feeds the older ones, the weaned ones, and like I said, I have 2 girls that rotate in and out of the parlor each week. So that's the milking parlor, and that should conclude our tour of Cave Hill Dairy Farm.